What's going on, guys? I'm Landon, and this is David, and we're Tappy Hoops. Today, we are talking about one of the greatest NBA teams this season as of right now. And I think on the power rankings right now, I'm pretty sure they're number 5, which is just, that's insane. Especially given the fact that I think I had them in the playoffs, low playoffs. I had them in the playoffs. David did not have them in the playoffs, I'm pretty sure. But right now, they're looking to be the 4 seed or 3 seed in the West, which of course means we are talking about the Memphis Grizzlies.
This year, we had low expectations for them, but they have way outperformed them. Even without Ja Morant for 9 games, they went like 8-1 without him, and now they're on a 10-game winning streak, just beating the Warriors. They beat the Jazz recently. Did they beat the Suns?
Maybe, I don't know.
But they played good teams in that 10-game winning streak, and they've beat them all because they're on a win streak.
That's what that means.
So, but what led them to this season? What was the transition like from the grit and grind era to now? Basically,
They traded their players, like trades that of course hurt to see, but like when they're obviously losing, they maybe were contenders at some point in some years. I would never say they were necessarily contenders, but they were a good, solid team at that point there. And like the 2010, 2014-ish that
era, yeah.
So like obviously it hurts to like as a fan base and as a team to see like Mike Conley, who's almost was a lifer for you, and it will retire his jersey in your stadium. And Marc Gasol, who will also probably retire his jersey.
Zach Randolph. Big fan favorite.
Yeah, it's hard to see those players leave, but they made the sacrifices they needed to, which hurts, but ended up helping them rebuild and making them set them up to be the archetype for a rebuilding team. Because the players that they receive from trades aren't the biggest. Like some of them they got from trades and they're decent and okay for the team. But the main thing that they got from these trades are picks, and with these picks, they did not waste their chance at all.
So here's just a few like late first round, early second round like players that they drafted and they got really lucky with, or they're just really good at drafting. Those players are Dylan Brooks, Brandon Clark, Desmond Bane, Xavier Tillman, and they also traded up to get Zaire Williams this year, who's not been horrible, but he's been playing decent for them this year, getting some good minutes. But the two main things that they did was they capitalized on their higher picks. That number 2 pick for Ja Morant in the year earlier, number 4 pick for Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about Ja because his game just speaks for himself. Like he is just, and I say it time and time again. Like I'm pretty sure I said it in our All-Star video because I'm excited because I think looking at fan returns, the fan voting returns, he's going to be a first-time All-Star this season, and I'm ecstatic to see that. And then, of course, Jaren Jackson Jr. is just amazing on the defense, has an amazing mid-range game. Decent, like, he's just a good big to have. And yeah, like, Ja Morant is just his leadership and his athleticism, just everything about him is phenomenal. And he is looking like this season like he could be the future face of the league. I don't think he will, but if he keeps it up, like, yeah, I don't know.
I feel like he's just too injury prone to do that. But he's been a very, very solid player, and I think he will be a top 10 player in this league at some point. He might be close to that right now. I'd say he's top 20. But after they drafted, once they got like all their solid young players, they needed older guys to mentor them, and that's what they did when they signed these 3 players. 2018, they signed Kyle Anderson for a very team-friendly deal, under $10 million a year for 4 years. Tyus Jones, same thing. He's just been a solid backcourt player for them, getting assists and basically facilitating for those younger players. And then John Conchar, who's been very surprising to me this year. I remember rebuilding with him on 2K and flip him. Had no idea who he was, and then this year I finally get to see him in a game, and it's very exciting. But besides these free agent signings, they've also been very smart with their trades. I don't know who their GM is, but he better get a raise because he's done a great job with them.
He just has perfectly executed this rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
Like a rebuilding, every team does this, but like specifically a rebuilding team needs to draft, and they need to build to the draft. They trade, like they haven't traded for a star, but like it's hard to trade for a star when you're like
when you don't have any assets.
When you don't have any assets and you're Memphis, like the star's gonna want to come there, or like a sign a star. I mean, because like I'm thinking like Los Angeles, like they can rebuild really fast,
and they did
because they did a decent job rebuilding. Like they traded for a lot of young players and then they get all these assets and stuff. But it's easy to do that because LeBron James is gonna want to sign to LA.
Right.
Whereas with Memphis, it's hard for a team like that to rebuild, but yet they're doing it because they don't have the advantage in free agency. They make up for it in how they drafted
in the later rounds, for sure.
In the later rounds, but like also just luck is part of it. But they got Ja Morant, and that is a player who can lead your team and be the number one option.
Yeah. Some other trades that they made that were just like some good hits. They traded Javon Carter, which was, I didn't think they would do that. I didn't think that was a good trade at first. They got DeAnthony Melton and two picks, one of them being Xavier Tillman. Javon Carter seemed like a very high upside guy in my opinion, but his career has stagnated. Unlike DeAnthony Melton, who's been a very solid role player for them. So after they got their stars, they did a really good job filling their team with young role players. And I think that's what a lot of teams should do after they get that star. Like the Pelicans, once they have Zion and Brandon Ingram, they should fill their team with young role players that can develop into that role.
Yeah, which I don't even know. I don't even know to say it. The Pelicans have done that because they just haven't.
Yeah.
They've kind of tried with like
Devontae Graham.
Like Devontae Graham Valanciunas, but like
I feel like they're too old. They don't fit the timetable, and they just traded for them at the wrong time. They're both on not great teams, and then with like high production on lower tier teams, and then they get more usage on those teams, and then they trade over to a team where they're going to get less usage, and it's not going to work out as well.
Yeah, like Zion, like what is he? Like he's just not. Ja Morant is like undeniably better than Zion.
Yeah.
And like that used to be a debate, and it's sad. It's sad to see for Zion that it's not anymore, because like you want to see those like number 1, number 2 picks like
duke
compete and like duke it out. Pun not intended. But
I did not realize that.
It's not like Ja Morant is just so much better than Zion at this point.
Mm-hmm. And partially because of injury.
Yeah, but like Ja Morant has also his fair share of injury. I'm not like. Yeah.
Not as bad as Zion.
Not as bad as Zion, but still, like Zion just also does not have the same even like work ethic. Like, because also part of Zion's problems is like his weight, and that might be hard for him. But like, still,
if you're going to be in the NBA, you have to be able to manage your weight and your athleticism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like the only thing that they haven't really hit on was their last trade, and that was trading for Steven Adams and basically Zaire Williams. And they gave up Valanciunas, who was a great player for them, and I think he would fit better with this team. But I don't know if that really hurts them as much in the long run. Steven Adams is still a great player. Zaire Williams is a great player. I don't know if they would take that trade back now, but it's more of like a lateral move, not an upward move for them.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call that trade bad. I just wouldn't call it great.
Right. And when you have a high standard of draft picks, free agency, and trades, then a mediocre trade's going to look horrible on your resume.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies I knew they were doing better than they were expected to this season, but it was only like a week ago, or not even it was only like a week ago where I realized they are fourth in the West, and like not just like a team that they're fourth in the West, but like they're gonna go down to like sixth or seventh soon. They are gonna be the fourth or third seed in the playoffs this year, unless the Mavericks kick it up and
which they have been right now.
The Mavericks have been, but also if Memphis stays hot too, because they're on a winning streak, and then Memphis, Mavericks are doing their thing, but they are over 6 games ahead of the Mavericks, which is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let us know down in the comments what you think of Grizzlies, anything related to the Grizzlies, what they've done, their players, whatever. So yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, join our Discord server down in the description, and we will see you next video. Peace.